Hey, today we're going to be talking about how to make a realistic bookkeeping firm business plan from someone who's done six figures per year in bookkeeping for the last, I believe it's been about 6 or 7 years. So the number one thing that people struggle with when it comes to starting a bookkeeping business, especially when it comes to planning, is capacity and time. So there's kind of a misconception that you have to start your bookkeeping business off as like a full-time thing, right? So you have to like quit your job and then like start your business full-time. Now, for me personally, if I can go back in time, I probably would not have quit my job initially. Now, the reason why is because if you can't handle growing your bookkeeping business when you don't have a lot of time, when you have too much time, the same tendencies happen, but on a much wider kind of scale. So I almost call it like having too much green syndrome. So back in the day, whenever I would like go over to my like aunts and uncle's house for like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, down in my uncle's basement, they have like this pool table, right? It's like billiards, pool table. You take your pool stick, you try and like hit one ball and then get the other ones inside of the hole, right? And then the winner of the game is the one that get all the balls of their color inside of the pockets. And then you just hit the 8-ball in to win, right? Now, when it came to that, the easiest shots in the game were when you had your cue stick, the cue ball, which is like the main ball that you hit off of, then the other ball like right next to it. Like the closer these things could be, the easier it was to hit the ball inside the pocket. Now, the further away that, so you have your cue and you have your white cue ball, the further away the second ball you had to hit into the pocket was from the cue ball, the harder it was for me and just most people in general to actually make the ball go inside of the pocket. Now, the reason why is because there's just too much open space you have to account for. And if you're not used to accounting for all that extra space, you're not able to go and utilize the table and the overall calendar to the best of your ability, and you end up missing everything completely. And it can be very embarrassing, very frustrating, very confusing, because it's like it shouldn't be that hard to go and do this. It's the same thing when it comes to your calendar, when it comes to starting your business. If you don't know how to utilize those, 2 hours after work and after your kids have gone to sleep to further grow your business, when you start getting 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours a day, right? Because not only are you going to get your 8 hours per day, but now you won't have to go do that commute. So for some people, they have like a 30-minute commute like there and back. Some people might have an hour commute, right? So let's say on the low end, you have like a 30-minute commute, right? It's an hour of your day back. Plus, let's say that you work 8 hours per day plus an hour for like lunch, right? Okay, so that means you have 10 extra hours per day on top of the 2 hours per day that you would have been working after the children go to sleep, right? So that means you have 12 hours. If you have no structure, no foundation, you don't know like when you should be doing your prospecting, when you should be doing your consultation calls, when should you be doing your client work? How do you prioritize which client's work you do first versus should you start on a new cleanup and then you're getting them up to kind of speed before you can start the monthly maintenance, or should you handle your other maintenance clients first, right? Which should you do first? So if you don't know that, you're just gonna get overwhelmed by how much extra free time you have. So the first thing is capacity. So let's kind of get into this. Let's assume that you're actually working a full-time job right now and you're getting your business going up to the side. So number one, when it comes to capacity, it's managing your skill set with QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop, whatever your accounting software is, mixed with wanting and waiting to subcontract out the work. Now, depending on your skill set, and when I say skill set, it's more of like how well do you know how to do bookkeeping? How well do you know how to use technology? How well do you know how to use automations and workflows inside of QuickBooks in order to like further condense that time, right? That's skill set number one. Like I had a student inside our mentorship program. She was doing about $5,000 per month, working about, I believe it was 5 hours per week. I think she might have even gotten down to like 5 hours per month. It was some like ridiculous number because she was just a master at workflows. Like she was a master. Like she spent like 90% of her time just improving her workflows and making sure the work was just as automated as possible, right? So she could take on a lot more work than the average individual while still working her full-time job because she understood like how to use all these different things, versus someone like myself where I'm not like a huge like amazing person when it comes to technology. I prefer to actually utilize, I do have like some workflows and some rules that are already in place, yes, but I like to use subcontractors and staff accountants to do all the work because I like that human interaction. I like them being able to respond to the client either questions or concerns that kind of come up, and it makes everything a lot easier for me to kind of run. So I can focus on marketing, sales, and then even getting referrals from existing clients or referral partners that are there. Now, if you don't have a lot of income coming in, automations and workflows are generally gonna be like the first thing you do, because like the way we price our service, another thing you can do to actually like increase your capacity is change the way you charge. So I was just speaking to an individual, and you know, she charged about like $30 per hour, and I was like, well, first thing, you know, we have to make sure you're not charging hourly, right? Because then you're kind of capped because you only have so many hours per week, and just because you want to work like 40 hours per week, that does not include, you know, like doing consultation calls. It does not include, you know, the non-billable hours, right? So you might not be able to bill 40 hours per week with the amount of time that you have, because you're only spending 40 hours per week working. That means you're probably only going to be able to get out probably about 25, maybe 35 hours, because you have so many different other tasks you need to be doing inside of your business, right? That's why I do have like VAs and staff accounts that generally help me. So it just helps me condense the amount of time and the amount of tasks I have to do, so I don't have to be the only person doing every single thing. Now, the way we like to price our services out is generally $10,000 per month, takes between about 25 to 30 hours per week, depending on the configuration of your clientele. And what that means is, like, if you're only doing transactional bookkeeping, right, then it's going to be a lot more work, versus if it's more of like consulting or like tax strategy or QuickBooks training, and you're selling more packages, we're getting like $3,000 or $5,000 up front, but it's not necessarily going to be direct facing client time. It's more like strategic level work, right? So that's really what's going to kind of cause that variance between how much money you can make, depending on like how much time you want to do. Now, once you're kind of up and you understand what your capacity is, the next thing is going to be really sales skills, okay? So your business plan needs to take into account, what is your current sales skills? If you've never gotten a person to pay you $1 who wasn't your friends or family, like, you generally don't really have that great of sales skills. Now, some people understand when they don't have sales skills, but other people, it's kind of like more of an egotistical thing. I kind of had it, but I don't think I understood it to the degree. Like, I have some friends who have never sold $1, never sold a dime, but they think they're the world's greatest salesperson. I would do it like this. I would say a one-liner. I would close that person, just like in the movies, right? But it's just like, there's a lot more to this stuff than possible. Like, you need to know how to like build authority. You need to know how to get the business to respect you, how to go drop in your value points, how to ask the right questions, how to increase the urgency, how to make sure you have all the right answers, how to make sure you know that they don't have like a partner or some random person who they had to go to after the call to get permission to even work with your accounting services, right? They need to know how to present your service, how you present your service so it's relevant to them, how to hit the right value points, how to drive up the value, what is your price going to be, how do you price it out, how do you explain the value of your pricings when they actually ask you that question, right? There's a million different things. Then once they say no, like, how do you calm them down? And like, there's a million different things when it comes to sales, right? So the better at sales that you are, the faster you can go and get clients. Now, we'll talk about marketing, how you can like take some of the burden off of sales, but you do have to kind of factor that in. Now, one thing that I did that really helped me when I was getting started was not when I purchased like my first like really large coaching program. I actually went with some of the other students in the program, and I did like a daily like sales call like practice session. So we would literally like, I would talk for 15 minutes, they would talk for 15 minutes. I would practice different sections of my sales script, right? So whether it was like asking better questions, I would practice that. Some days I would practice like, how do I present my service? Some days I would practice like an objection or a different type of objection. Like maybe I would practice the person didn't have money. I'd practice if the person didn't see the value in getting a cleanup. I would see if the person needed to split the cleanup over multiple, amounts of time, right? Just a bunch of different things and different scenarios to make sure that I was like the best prepared I possibly could be, right? Because that's the thing that's going to increase how quickly can you actually go and grow your business, right? Because if you can go and close and sign up 50% of the people you speak to on your consultation calls at your target price point, you need drastically less calls and less volume than someone who has no sales skills. For example, I'll give you two examples. Number one is my student Maggie in my mentorship program. Now, when she got started, she had okay sales skills, but she had a lot of like the mindset things that were needed. She just didn't really understand like the value of her service. So she didn't understand that like, $1,500 a month is not a lot of money from someone who's doing like $2 million a year in net profit, right? It's not a lot of money. It's just like super, super low, right? So once we kind of like fixed her mindset around like why what she was charging was actually reasonable, and then we gave her a couple of different like questions you should be asking to handle a lot of objections that pop up at the end of the call. early in the call, it made her close rate a lot higher. So when she mixed it with the marketing that we teach her to do in the program, she was able to go in. One of her partners, who actually referred her some clients that she found on LinkedIn, referred her 22 people. She closed between 11 to about 13 people in the span of like 60 days off of those 22 calls, right? Now, for most people, it would probably, like, I know for most people that I've seen who are just kind of like learning this stuff from the ground up, if they took 22 calls, they'd be lucky to get maybe like one or two, right? But she got over 50% of the people to sign up with her. Now, you might be thinking, well, it's from a referral. It's like, just because it's from a referral doesn't mean they're going to be willing to pay the price you want, right? A lot of times what happens is if you get like a referral, especially like if you get a referral from like a CPA firm, or even a referral from like a friend, when you tell them what your price is, if you just in case you've never done it, like if when you tell them their price and they're not really prepared for that price that you're expecting, even if it's a referral, even if it's like the husband or wife of your best friend, it could be your sister-in-law. If they hear a price that's more than what they're expecting, it doesn't matter how referred they are and how warm they are. They will generally balk, and you have to go and start doing some magic, some magic stuff right there, right? So it's just kind of like you have to be kind of aware of your sales skills. Another good example, and just kind of like drive home the point that like if you're really good at sales, you don't need to do as much. So one of our students named Brian, he's doing about 12 grand a month right now. So before we got started, he had like a bunch of like smaller clients, like $300, like $500 a month, right? Probably about, I think it was about $1,100 to like maybe $1,300 a month worth of like small clients. And the first thing we did is we really looked at the way he presents his offer and really structured the way that he kind of talks about it. So number one, it was like more attractive to the actual business owners that he was speaking to, but also making sure that he kind of felt comfortable with the word no, right? Because like when you're charging higher price points, you're gonna have people saying no, but it's what you do after the person says no that's gonna dictate your success or failure, short term and long term in this business. Because if you can't make money in the short term, most people are gonna quit very quickly. Like that's just the nature of business. Like business is a very simple game if played over a long enough period of time, where you do what you say you're gonna do, you promise things that you can actually deliver, and then people want to work with you and they want to send their friends. Like it's a very, very easy game over like the 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The place where it's hard is when you're trying to learn all this stuff in the beginning, right? And then if you don't really get success, most people just can't handle not succeeding, right? It's sad, but it's true. If you're watching a video like this, you're probably not like most people. I mean, like if you can sit here and watch a video that's already probably been going like 5-10 minutes long, like your attention span is a lot longer than the average person. Like let's just be honest. Which, you know, for the rest of the people, like it is kind of sad, but for you do have this advantage, this opportunity to be able to go and utilize the skills and the placement you are in your life to go and reach your goals and reach your financial dreams, right? Because not a lot of people have the potential or even the opportunity to be able to do that, right? But if you have that, you have a responsibility to both yourself, your family, and to all the people who don't have those opportunities to go and fully achieve what you are trying to do. Right, so with Brian, his first client in the program was about, I think it was like $5,600 a month, right? That's from his previous clients were like $300, $400 a month to a $5,600 client. Now, I don't know about you. What is that? 300 divided by 50, 10 would be 30, 20 would be 60. So that's about an 18 or 19x increase on his past prices, right? And it's just like, knowing how to back up that price when you've never done it before. If you have good sales skills, it makes it easier, right? So he got to about 12, 13 grand a month. It took him about 90 days to do that. And he has another big deal that's kind of on the table. He's kind of following with them and like waiting for a good day for them to like book a consultation call. But he could be at anywhere between about, let's say that deal is between $3,000, maybe it's like another $5,000 per month deal. So he could be at, 17 to 20 grand a month by the end of like the next 2 months, right? But that's only with 4 clients. Like, it's not like it's that far away for a lot of people if you can get your sales skills up to the right amount of time. So just driving that home. So you have to take into account, are you a person who's new to sales? If you're new to sales, you're going to have to really account for not being able to make money as quickly if you're doing this on your own. If you do a mentorship program, if you do like some kind of program, you do some kind of like sales training, I'm not talking about like a Toastmasters kind of thing where it's like a public speaking thing. I'm talking about specific like how to ask questions, how to do a presentation, how to close, what are different closing frameworks that you can use in order to make sure that you know how to go and like handle situations. Like if you have that and you can practice that very consistently, at least like 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, that's going to totally decrease how long it's going to take for you to start making money inside of your business plan. Then finally, marketing. Marketing is the toughest part to kind of account for, because everyone always underestimates how challenging it is to go and get a client if you don't know what you're doing. Now, when it comes to marketing, a lot of people like to try and make like a website first, and like that's okay. And like generally, what most people try to do is they're trying to seem like established. Now, if a business owner ever gets on the phone and like doesn't want to work with you because you don't have a website, that means they don't really believe your skills. Like, just being completely honest. Like, think about it like this. One way you can really prove that you are good or you know what you're talking about is to be able to talk about it in a very coherent way. If you cannot really talk about what you do, it communicates to the business owner that you don't really know what you're doing, and that causes them to want to ask for like a website. Do you have business cards? How long you've been established for? Can I see your Better Business Bureau ranking or listing? I want to see your articles of incorporation. Like, just ask for like random stuff. I want to see your birth certificate. Like, just random stuff to kind of like either one, escape from the phone call because I know you don't have all that, or number two, they're just trying to convince themselves that like if this person has X, Y, Z, A, B, C, even though they're not good at talking, they can't be as bad as what they're kind of portraying themselves. So all you have to do is just learn how to talk a little bit better and a little bit more coherently, a little bit more organized, and just like kind of move. Now, the way I do that is by having like scripts. Now, if you want some help, maybe you've been watching this video and like it's kind of showing like, hey, there's maybe a lot of things that maybe you weren't thinking about or weren't yet really prepared for, and maybe you have two choices, right? Because you could go and you could like try and figure this stuff out on your own. It will take you a lot of time. Like if you have a lot of time, you're not really in a rush, or you're not really like that ready to grow. Like keep watching more videos, keep watching different things, and kind of just learn it over time. But if you want to go and grow your business, you want to make sure you're doing it right. You want to make sure that you have the foundations, the structures, everything that you need to go and avoid recreating that wheel so you can have that long-term consistent success in your business. I just invite you to go ahead and book a call with either myself or my team to see like if doing one of our mentorship program options would be the best solution for yourself or your family. Okay, it's not for everybody. Let's make that very clear. Some people are not a good fit for what we do, and that's okay. We're not for everybody. But for the people who we do work with, we want to make sure that we can give you the best results possible. We want to make sure that everything is in alignment for you to be able to do so. So we do consultation calls to see if it's a good fit and if you qualify for one of our programs. If you qualify, we generally give you an invitation to join, a solicitation. You can then accept it, and if you accept it, then we schedule an onboarding call. We're off to the races, and now we're going towards your goals. If you'd like to participate in that way and see if this is a good fit for you and if you qualify for this offer, go ahead and click on the link inside the description either above or below the video to book a call with myself and my team to see if we can help you out inside of one of our programs. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. Have a good one.